You guys, welcome to our Sundays with Summit Health. Today this is a little bit different. We are recording this on Zoom. It's not live. I know many of you are busy today doing things with your family, but we wanted to take this opportunity to visit with Brandie B. She's been a client of mine. She's currently a client of Lauren's. She's been through our Master Your Macros program. And what has really been true for Brandie is that she has seen tremendous success in her programs because she's done both the mental and the physical work. And something that just continues to stand out to us as coaches is how can we get our clients to believe that they can do the things, right? To be compliant and consistent. And Brandie has really done the work. And so we wanted to take this opportunity to kind of share some of Brandie's journey. And she's been willing enough to share and be vulnerable with us. So I know that you're going to walk away with some lessons and some things that you will hold as gems. And we hope that these will offer some change for you too. So we kind of have some prepared questions. And we can be, extemporaneous and whatever, but I just wanted to make sure Lauren helped us come up with these because Lauren knows you so well. You've worked with Lauren for some time now. So let's start with this. Maybe just initially, your initial exposure to Summit Health was with the Master Your Macros program. Is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we did that. We spent 6 weeks together and then you came on as a one-on-one client. And how long did we work together?
I don't even know if maybe 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking it was like a month or two. It wasn't long, right?
No, it wasn't long enough.
Yeah. So what are some things that you've done differently in going through coaching the second time?
Well, the first time, I definitely didn't give the process enough time. I didn't give you a real shot at helping me. I thought since I lost some weight that I had it under control, that all I needed to do was stick to the macro numbers. But boy, was I I learned that my food problem was far from over. And after a few months of gaining some weight back, I reached a really low point. So embarrassed, I reached out to you again. And actually that day feels like yesterday. I cried a lot when I wrote that text to you, hoping you didn't think I was ridiculous. But I knew I needed more help than just hitting the numbers. So going in the second time, I was ready to commit to the process, no matter how long it took. And I've been battling with this food problem for over 20 years. So it's going to take more than just a couple of weeks to have success. And once I realized that, I was ready to give myself over to the process. And funny side note, if I didn't, Jared was ready to call you. So that was a push.
Okay, Brandie, first of all, we don't know the behind the scenes. You sharing that makes me want to cry. It's like, what I know is when people finally reach out to me, I know that if they are finally sending me a text or an email, they have thought about this 1,000 times. You know what I mean? And they've tried 1,000 things, but they finally realize and see, okay, I can't do this on my own. But you're so right. It's what you expressed is where so many people are. It's like they see success. Look, this is easy. I just hit these numbers and the weight comes off and all I have to do is just keep doing this. But then what they realize is there's so much more to the process than just the numbers.
Absolutely.
And timing, how long did it take us to get where we are? And we're not going to undo 20 years of maybe a struggled relationship with food in 2 months,
Right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what makes it challenging to stick to? Did you have anything else to say? Did you have any other
No, that was it. Yep. Thank you.
So next thought, what makes it challenging to stick to your plan so closely? What has been hard?
So at first using Fitness Pal was really annoying. So frustrating that what people did every day, the active eating, was a chore for me when it came to tracking. Also in the beginning, it was hard to hit the macro numbers, but it did become easier over time. And you and my husband helped me realize that fit people I aspire to be, are that way because of dedication and discipline. So changing how I looked at tracking food really helped my perspective on it. And I saw it as the tool that it is, helping me to get to be my fit, better self. And now I'm at a place where I actually have to know, or I turn into a psycho about it. So I hate not knowing. So that's good. And some of the other challenges was when I started with Lauren, she had to figure out my macro numbers. So right away, we were in like this maintenance phase, which was extremely challenging because I wanted to get the weight off, So that took a mental toll at first. I didn't understand fully until time went by. And I had to trust what she was telling me, because what other option did I have, But I also realized what I've been doing hadn't been working. So I just took one day at a time, and I just look forward to our visits to keep my spirits up. Also, during the first maintenance phase, I had a lot to eat. Believe it or not, that was a challenge. Eating a lot of yogurt and chicken was tough. Always super full, always. And then just some other challenges that came up was like situations where you didn't have control of food, like social gatherings, vacations, travel. Boredom with food is a thing. Looking at the scale every day. Still feeling miserable because of my slow process and just continuing to be that weight. And at that point I started with Lauren, I did feel completely defeated. So I was just tired of hating myself and wanted to hide from the world and never wanted to leave the house. So that's where I was at that time. That was the challenge.
So you're feeling, number one, you're feeling defeated.
Mm-hmm.
We feel like a failure because we feel like we're the reason things aren't working.
Yep.
We feel uncomfortable with how we look. We don't want to be around people. We don't want to be with people. We don't feel joy. We can't find joy in the things that we do.
No.
And then you finally are like, okay, all right, I give. I'm going to reach out to Amy. And then Lauren starts working with you, but she puts you at maintenance, which means you have to eat a lot of food.
Yep.
And here you are, uncomfortable, not liking your size, not feeling confident. And she's saying, nope, you need to eat at maintenance.
Yep. It was hard. Yeah.
It's hard. And you're not alone. This is, and truly for everyone who watches this is what makes Summit Health different. We are not your macro calculator. We are not your, enter your goals into MyFitnessPal and, I'm going to give you 1,200 calories. We see you as the human that you are. And we need to make sure that your metabolism is as healthy as it can be before we put you into a fat loss phase. We need to make sure that you physically and mentally can handle that. There's so many things at play,
Oh yes, absolutely. I've learned that.
And that's why, I'm so thankful that I'm sorry that your journey was two pieces, but at the same time, without that first piece, I don't think you'd be where you are right now.
I agree 100%. I agree.
And so it's okay. Everybody's journey is different, but the fact that it just helped you to realize this is going to be a process and that's okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did you overcome those challenges? What tools do you feel like you have now?
Well, for one thing, I have the best support at home. Had it not been for my husband never giving up on me, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So when I got married, my husband didn't know that I carried this food baggage that I have. I even feel like I gave him a food disorder, but we both struggled. But for me, it was a deeper issue than just eating. We've been married almost 19 years, and not once did he ever say I wasn't good enough. Why bother eating the salad? Because you're just going to overeat tomorrow. He never threw this in my face. Instead, he always found the right words to encourage me. And he always made me feel good. Even at 250 pounds, he never stopped reinforcing my goals and reminding me I could get there. And that went on for years. Along with his help, the biggest thing was telling myself I needed to make real changes this time. It's now or never. I'm almost 40 years old. Commit to it and see it through. That's what got me through the maintenance phase at first. And I was just tired of feeling this self-hate and just make the choice to change. So almost everything in life is out of our control, but this was 100% mine. I had full control of this monster. So I finally put my head in the game and just did what Lauren said to do. In the beginning, I met with her twice a week to help keep me in check. And having that was huge. She helped me so much through the deep issues, brought things up and out that I didn't even know were there. I also knew going through this journey with Lauren, I had to be completely honest and open in all things. So she made it easy to tell her those things as well. Not once did I ever feel judged on anything or stupid or less than. I do believe a huge part of my success in this process is being honest. I knew if I messed up with food, I had to tell her. So because she can't fix if she doesn't know it, you know. It's been uncomfortable at times, and of course I've cried, but it's so important to be real. Excuses and lies will only get you so far. But if you're honest in this, I promise you will thrive. Choose honesty over perfection every time. Sorry, I'm going to get long-winded. So when the bad times did come up, again, I reached out for help with this support group. Lauren, Jared, my mom, my closest friends have been amazing. And also Lauren would just give me a series of questions to ask myself that I would run through during those hard times. So that would break down the situation that's going on. And my husband would receive random text messages from me if I was struggling. And every time he would call and we would just talk through it. I found that sometimes once you say it out loud, whatever it is you're dealing with, even though it may not be fixed, does help. I think having someone just validate what you're going through, right or wrong, can help you move past it or through it. I've even told him that I know you can't change what's going on right now, but I need to express this. So by doing this small thing, these people have helped me in overcoming the urge to eat, because that's what I did. I ate my feelings. Other things that I found helpful is I found things or projects to work on to distract myself, more healthy alternatives, than eating, because again, eating out of boredom is a thing. But for me, ultimately, it came down to what I want more. Do I want change or continued heartache? So for example, just feeling good after a workout, meeting small goals, like hitting the macros each day, working through the thoughts of overeating, hitting workout goals, water goals, sleep goals. A lot of things like this keep the mind busy, which is really good. Yeah. Also finding new foods that are fun and fuel the body. And we also eat the same things every day pretty much. We rotate certain foods, but it just makes it easy. Takes the guesswork out of it. Also, I'll take the same food over and over again over the gross feeling of binge eating would leave you with. So that's something I've learned too. And once in a while, we are human. We do eat something out of the ordinary. We like to have fun on the weekends. But something else I learned along the way was, as long as you're being consistent the majority of the time, I could enjoy that cinnamon roll or pizza and it wouldn't throw me off balance. The more good decisions you make with food, the easier it becomes. I've never gone this many weekends with consistently sticking to my macros. And that alone gives me confidence I can and will continue to make good food choices. Sorry, really long-winded.
Oh, good, Brandie.
Yeah. And just meal prepping. Meal prepping is huge.
Huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Brandie.
It's the key to success.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What else? Anything
else? Just the meal prepping. Yeah, that was it. Sorry.
I mean, I was thinking you highlighted so many gems. Okay. So first and foremost, your support team, your best friend, your partner in crime, your one flesh had your back when you were ready to do this and long before that. Just such a solid support best friend.
Yes.
Your mom, you mentioned your closest friends. We need that. That is so important. Now, sometimes people are in a situation where their mate is not the most supportive person, and that can be hard, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. So who can we lean on if we don't have an amazing mate like Jared? Like you said, your mom, a best friend, your coach. If you need, like clients will be in certain positions where it's like, we're texting every day. Okay. I need a check-in from you. I just need to know, hey, thumbs up, thumbs down, we're struggling. Let's get on a phone call. We need to be there for you, but at the same time, we have to curate a tribe of people who support us, and especially when they need them. And then can we be that for someone else? The way you said it, I thought was so beautiful. You would express to Jared, and I know guys are fixers, this is wrong. And they instantly are like, okay, what do we need to do? This needs to be fixed, right? Well, I'm sorry. Sometimes it can't be fixed, but I just need to, like you said, say it out loud. I need you to hear me. And I just need you to understand what I'm going through. Just love me through it. Yes. And so can we be that for someone else? You know what I mean? Yes. Like be that for someone else,
Absolutely.
You also mentioned setting small goals and digging into those and that being motivating. You know what I mean? I love that. That's huge. You also mentioned finally coming to the realization that the pain of either where you've been or the pain of a binge or a storm eating session, what that feels like is so uncomfortable that the discomfort of tracking our food or figuring it out, doing the math, doing the work, prepping the food, like that pain was worse than this. And you decided to prioritize this. Meal prep. I mean, and that's the other thing is you keep it semi-simple. If you were to show us your food diaries, like you're right, 80% of the time you're eating very similar things. I do the same thing. I think successful people do the same thing, like keep it simple. If we focus on food as fuel, then we remove the association of everything. I have to enjoy absolutely everything that I eat. Not to say that we don't enjoy it, but it's fuel.
Yeah.
But then you found balance. The weekend, right? The weekends, you mentioned pizza, you mentioned the cinnamon rolls. I'm sure there's been some cocktails in there.
Oh, you betcha.
Yes. So there's balance, but the thing that you noticed, you said, if you do the right thing the majority of the time, you realized those situations where you're not perfect. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't explode.
You're so right. And then you let go of the perfection. You let go of feeling like if I'm not perfect, then I'm off the rails.
Yep. And that was what I did in the past. You have one Oreo, you got to have them all.
Brandie, you are not, I was visiting with another client, same situation. She lost over 50 pounds twice. And she can remember the day that the food, she remembers the moment, she remembers the memory. Like she had been in this journey and she had this one food and it led to then all this other, entire session of storm eating. And then she felt like it's over and she gained all the weight back.
Oh, I've been there. That's awful.
Because that's how she felt. She felt like, well, I just messed it all up. So why even try any longer? But instead, just like, okay, all right, this not ideal, not feeling good about this, but what can I learn from this? It doesn't mean tomorrow has to be the same. Like what created this? What was driving this? Like the questions.
Yeah, the questions. Yeah, Lauren, she pick, make sure we figure it out. And that's what helped.
So you mentioned being honest. Yes. And there were times where it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable because you were honest. And that's the thing that honestly stood out so much to Lauren about you.
Mhm.
She said, Brandie is so open and so vulnerable, and she never makes excuses. If she does the thing, she owns the thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
this happened. I chose it.
Mhm.
It is what it is, but here's what I'm going to do to fix it. Like, how do we get to the bottom of this?
Mhm.
Instead of, well, I couldn't control this. I didn't know what was here. We were traveling. I ran a Spartan race. There was no excuses.
Well, it's not going to work if you make excuses. It's just not going to work. And she's not going to help me through it if I'm not honest with her about it. And I wanted to eat the cookies, so I did. So let's work on that.
It's
You
true.
just gotta own it.
You do.
I don't
But
know.
that's that vulnerability. We can't
Mhm.
ever get, and you're right. I mean, we as coaches, we don't always have the answers. Okay. But here's
Mhm.
what we do know. Unless we truly know what
Right.
is going on, we
Mhm.
absolutely cannot help. We
Right.
cannot help,
Mhm. Yeah, and that's not fair to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so true. Oh, well, how did you handle social gatherings? You mentioned, I mean, going to places where you didn't have control of the food. You guys are very social. You've been on vacations. You have done a lot of things through these phases. How do you handle those things?
Okay, so this one's gonna get a little long-winded. So, social gatherings have always been hard. So in the beginning, well, for a lot of years, I would avoid them at all costs because of how I felt and looked. As silly as it sounds, my weight was constantly in my thoughts. It was kind of exhausting. And that would take the joy out of any occasion. And being the fat friend, people would always feel the need to comment on your choices of food, clothing, and drink. I used to hide in hoodies, even in 90-degree temps. And never would they say anything to the skinny friend, it felt like. It's hard when you already feel like you stand out, and then it's made worse by comments. Whenever I would order a salad or a non alcoholic beverage, people would say in front of the group, "Are you being good? Are you on a diet?" And now that comment feels even more annoying because of what I've learned from Lauren. I'm not being good, I'm just ordering food. I hate feeling like I need to explain myself every time we go out, or especially if I just don't want to drink. Because honestly, for me, I'd rather have the mashed potatoes and mac and cheese over the drink. I mean, I'm just saying, give me them carbs. But I'm still learning the best way to respond. Even now, as I'm thinking about the question, I struggle with social gatherings. I think because in my head, I've always stood out in the group because of weight. So any kind of attention directed at me when it comes to food makes me still want to crawl in a hole. But having gotten a little more confidence, I do like to go out more. So some of the things I do to help with social gatherings is eating right beforehand, especially protein to feel full, or on the way to an event. If I did know the restaurant we were eating at, I would just plan ahead, put that in the tracker, and then just eat my food around it that day. But if I didn't know what the food was when I was going out, I would just make sure I really tracked my food closely that day. Like I would save my fat or carbs sometimes for that day. Just depends. But if it's something really unique or different, I no longer stress about the macro numbers. I enjoy myself and make sure I get back to tracking the very next meal, which was a huge change for me. Because, like I said before, in the past, one meal of overindulging could lead to days of overindulging. And I also knew that even if I didn't track the food down to each macro number, Lauren would just still need to know what I had, and she never made it a big deal. So the accountability was still there to keep me in check. Also, again, having Jared at my side at social gatherings was very helpful. And having Lauren in my head was also just amazing. It's amazing too to think about. Actually, I've been able to bounce back from every social gathering where I did overeat since working with Lauren. That to me feels like control.
You are absolutely right. Wow. I mean, you mentioned so many of the tools that we want people to use, plan ahead. eat protein beforehand, do the best you can to prioritize your choices. But the thing that you said that really stood out to me was when there's something unusual, instead of obsessing over, well, how am I going to track this? And how is it going to be perfect? And the numbers aren't going to be right. You eat the food, you enjoy it, and you know that tomorrow we're going to pick right back up where we left off.
Right.
You're not going to track your food forever. That's the reality. You're not. So you learning in small increments and meals how to enjoy your food for what it is, to eat to fullness, to enjoy the occasion or the event, and not stress about perfection, the numbers.
Wow. Yeah, it helps a lot.
Yeah. And you're right. I mean, you're actually the second person this week that's mentioned that when people make comments, you're eating vegetables. Are you on a diet? Stop the comments. Yeah. Stop the comments. Like, humans should eat vegetables all the time. Okay, doesn't mean you're dieting.
Right? No kidding. No kidding. Just shut up.
Yeah. It's just stop the comments. And so I understand, like, we have to just, imaginary bubble, like, okay, whatever, it's not going to mess with my vibe. I'm fine. So, because they will always be there. That's the reality.
Always. Yep.
The comments will always be there. And it's they're not doing it intentionally. They don't even know they're doing it. So, okay, like, give them that. But if we can, you guys, like, spread the word, just stop the comments.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And one of the best things that Lauren ever told me that I tell people, because they tend to eyes glaze over when I talk to them about this stuff, because it's so awesome. But, broccoli isn't good and Oreos aren't bad. It's just food. So once you realize that too, I think that's huge. It's just food, guys. It's just food.
Yes.
It's helped tremendously too.
Oh my word. Yes. Because the moment you eat something bad, now I'm doing bad.
Exactly. Then you're doing the restrictive thing, and that's not good. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, right? It's so simple yet so complex for people, I think.
Well, it's true, Brandie. And again, this is something that you mentioned. Okay. This has been a struggle or something that has been such a challenge for you for so many years. We learn to self-soothe. We learn to self-medicate. We learn to use food as a drug. But the hard part is we have to eat. We have to eat. So people can stop drinking alcohol if they're using that in a poor manner. They can stop using drugs, but we still have to eat.
Yep.
So learning, if we have used food as those things, then we have to realize I can't just say no to food forever. I have to learn how to shift that relationship. And that is hard.
It's very hard. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So travel. You've traveled a good bit through maintenance phases, through fat loss phases. How do you handle travel?
So lots and lots of planning, packing all the snacks we need to stay on track. We've gotten very used to packing a cooler almost everywhere we go, even when we're not on vacation or something, just leaving for the day or shopping for the day, preparing yourself mentally to be out of your environment. And remember, you still have goals. It does help knowing that I don't need to be perfect again. So the pressure is off, but we still have the choice to make good decisions. You can find all the excuses you want when you travel not to do well, but you still have the power to choose something good or something not so good. I don't like to use the word bad, but you still have the choice, So it's simple. It's what do you want more?
Again, pain. Which one's more painful?
Right.
Staying where you're at or having, you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah.
You got to be the Girl Scout. You go everywhere prepared. You know what I mean? Like,
we do. Great.
I got a granola bar in my purse, wherever, you know what I mean? Be the Girl Scout.
Yeah, I think I got that from you though. You always talked about that. What are we bringing? What are we packing?
Yeah, be that person. Good. Awesome. People come to you for food. Fine.
Yeah, fine. Here's a cheese stick.
Yes. Exactly. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's talk about maintenance. You mentioned in the beginning that when you started sort of in a maintenance phase, that was really challenging. But then you got into a cut phase or a fat loss phase for 3 months, right? 90 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you saw, you were consistent, you did the work, you were dedicated, you saw tremendous results. But then Lauren said, all right, we have to go back to a maintenance phase. What was that like for you? How did you handle that?
I'll tell you. So I was just getting started on the weight loss journey, right? So and then Lauren popped my bubble with the maintenance phase. It actually felt like a sucker punch. I didn't want the cut over with because it wasn't hard for me. I was excited. And sure, there were moments where I still wanted to eat the whole pie, but overall, I really did enjoy it. I was just starting to feel so good that feeling was so much more powerful than the urge to eat at that time. I was also coming up to a huge number on the scale. So the timing was hard. However, after many talks with Lauren, I understood how important maintenance phase is. And she also gave me ideas to make it fun. So I was able to enjoy more food, and going out was actually quite a bit easier. But now that it's over, I did realize how capable I am at staying in control and maintaining the weight. And I didn't let the setback derail me. Plus, again, just needed to trust the process. It's not going to happen overnight. But I will say this second cut is a lot harder. I'm more hungry than I was the first time. So feelings actually of wanting to overeat have come back full force. It's really interesting how the waves of emotions and feelings during this cut is very different than the first, something that's been shocking. So there was a lot of excitement the first cut with no hunger feelings and awesome changes, but with the second one, those old thoughts of wanting to overeat made their way back in. I didn't expect it. I had gone weeks and weeks, actually months, without those nasty thoughts. And for them to creep back up was frustrating. So I could have allowed myself to have the cookie, but at the time I was so close again to that number on the scale. I wanted to hit that more than having the cookie. I wanted to be as close to my macro numbers as possible. So even with the strong urge to eat, I focused on that goal. Again, distracting myself with those things I said before, like household projects or workouts. Simple things like coffee or diet pop would help, like just throw the urge out. Once in a while, I would have popcorn, and it may have taken me over my macros for that day, but having extra popcorn didn't throw all my hard work out the door, you know? And another huge factor, again, is the support system. You have to use it if it's there. Lauren and Jared. It does still suck though at this point that I'm still fighting the inner battle, but all I can do is one day at a time. It's also embarrassing to say that this battle is with food. And speaking about it today is actually very difficult, but unfortunately, I'm not the only one struggling with it. But on a positive note, I am looking forward to my next maintenance phase.
Look at that, right? I mean, who knew?
Yeah.
Brandie, your honesty here, I mean, again, your honesty here, it's huge. And something that we all need to realize is we own one phase and feel like, well, the next time it's going to be exactly the same. And it's not. It's not. And your expressions that hunger is higher, the urge to overeat is stronger. I mean, number one, it's because you've made your body a fat burning machine. And so now it's like, give me the food. You know what I mean? So sorry, not sorry, but it is hard. It is hard, you know, it means you're healthy and vibrant and it's exactly what you want. But being hungry is not easy, you know?
No.
And you also mentioned like the emotional journey. You think, well, I've done all this work. Like now it should be fine.
Yep.
But it's like the layers of an onion. You've
Mhm.
been able to process and to heal. And guess what? Now we're gonna pull back another layer, and it's gonna be raw, and it's gonna be fresh, and it's gonna be different than that first one, you know?
Absolutely.
And it doesn't go away. Something, I mean, this has been a journey for me taking on nutrition and health coaching. You know, like I went through my own journey before I ever got to where I felt like, okay, I feel like I could capably help others. But there are times where things come up and it is really hard because I just want to like look in the mirror and say, what are you doing? You handled this already. Like you got through this. Why is this so hard?
Mhm.
But we're all human.
Yep.
We're all human. And what hits us and what affects us is so dependent on where we're at in life. You know,
Yeah.
the good thing is we get to feel it. It's not always comfortable. It can be uncomfortable, but it's also a blessing to get to experience emotions, no matter how strong they are. You know?
Yep. Yeah. You kind of just let it happen. Let
Yes.
the emotion happen. Hmm. That's how you
Yeah.
work through it.
It's
Hmm.
true. You have to
Hmm.
sit in the uncomfortableness of it in order to process it. You know,
Yeah.
if we put the band-aid on it, or if we don't acknowledge it, we never can move through it, you know.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Okay. So thank you. Honestly, thank you for your heartfelt expressions there. So at what point during your cut did you start to believe that success was possible? I'm super curious about this.
Okay. I actually have a neat story here. I think this is the one. Yes. So I had 2 or 3 weeks left on my first cut, and I hit a great number on the scale, one I hadn't seen in a long time. So it did feel very real then. I also went on a trip during that cut and made great food choices, showing I can do it, but still enjoy myself. And during that trip, a friend of mine gave me a powerful compliment. He has no idea how cool it was for me. We hadn't seen these friends in a while, and when he did ask me how it was going with Lauren, before I could even answer, he then said, "Well, it's obviously going good." And we were walking when he said that, and I believe I stopped, and Jared almost ran into me. And when I hear things like that, when people notice the change, it's so motivating for me. It motivated me to continue that weekend to make good food choices. And at that point, I still had a long way to go to hit my first goal. But for it to be seen already was such a good feeling for me. I haven't felt that good about myself in years. And at that point, I could taste success. It was so neat. It was such a neat thing. Like just somebody acknowledging that the work you put in, and I thrive off of compliments because I don't get them. So when they come, it's like, it's a high. It's such a neat high. And especially from a dude that doesn't care, it's just really neat because he didn't have to say it.
Right.
So it was cool.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Again, you guys, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
very
So it,
cool.
it was cool.
Yeah. So, Brandie, what's your end goal?
What is the end goal? Okay, so that was a hard question. I used to have an unrealistic idea that I would be 125 pounds and eat little to nothing. However, after this last year, that idea has completely shifted. I now want to feel good about my clothes and feel strong during workouts. But most of all, I want to keep myself in control and use the tools I've learned from working with you both. I do joke about not seeing a future without Lauren because right now I don't. I may have lost close to 50 pounds, but I know I still need her. The mental work isn't done yet. And I've also learned that the end goal changes over time. So in another couple weeks or months, my goals may look different. And I love that because for me, it means I'm growing as a new person.
That is so true. That is
Yeah.
so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not alone. Like so many people come, they've got that number on the scale. But what we as coaches have to do is we have to dig into, but what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Does that mean fitting in to a pair of jeans that you look stinking amazing in and feeling confident when you walk into a room? What does that mean? It's not the number on the scale that people are chasing. It's that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, so true.
Yeah. Yeah, you're so right. And I mean, I love that we never want you guys to be dependent on us, right? We are trying, just like raising kids, we're trying to create capable, independent, amazing human beings who can approach food and social gatherings and the rest of life feeling confident and capable. But it does take time.
Yeah.
We have to do that mental work, right?
Mm-hmm. It's huge.
And that's why we're wanting to create, not only, I'm so thankful for you doing this and sharing this with everybody who's in our group, because long after you may be done with coaching, you may still need support from Lauren, myself, your best friend, somebody in the group. And we want to be that. We want to be that,
I love that. I love that. You even said that to me when I left the first time. You said to continue to reach out. And I thought that was huge because I don't know, you didn't have to say that. And it wasn't like, I mean, you said it even without like the money thing part of it, like you still was like, I'm here. So that was powerful, I thought at that time.
Not a single one of us is doing this for the money. Literally.
That's very obvious.
Like we have to have a job. I get that, right? But it's like we love what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And to see people respond and take it and have it truly change their lives, there's no cost to that,
That's so cool.
Okay.
Okay.
So what kind of mental barriers have you had to overcome, and what's helped you in overcoming those? And what are you still working on? What are ones that you're still kind of working through?
So years of binge eating. I actually hate that word. It's really embarrassing. It's also embarrassing to admit that I have hide food. I never wanted Jared to see what I was actually eating. I don't think most people understand how eating can be such a problem. I don't even understand it. I don't understand how it can have such a hold on people, but it didn't matter what I was going through or what was going on. I enjoyed overdoing food. That's just what it was. When bad things would come up, that was when it was worse. It just numbs the mind and you don't think about anything. It's what makes you happy in that very brief moment. Again, it's the only thing I could control, and I refuse to let anyone take it away. Even though I knew this problem was bad for me, stopping seemed impossible. And at times it meant taking the only thing that made me happy away. I really wasn't living. I was just existing. So I struggle with self-hate, not feeling good enough. And everyone can see what you struggle with. Never feeling pretty enough. And one of the things I do, it's weird. Once I leave the house, I never look into mirrors. I despise my picture taken. Looking at a photo of myself can change my mood for days. I now know this will be something I struggle with forever. It doesn't matter what weight I'm at. Even at 45 pounds down now, I still get nervous about hitting my goal weight and still hating the way I look. The reason I feel this way is because when I was a size 8 in my graduation photos, the smallest I've ever been, I still cried when I saw them. Not out of happiness, but out of disdain. But knowing this has made working on the mental part very important. So what's helped with this though is working with Lauren on the deep issues. That's why in the beginning it was so important to meet as often as I could with her. She's helped me be more positive and focused on what I've overcome and not the failures. Also, time. Time has really helped me in dealing with these mental struggles, allowing time to go by and just dealing with them head on. I've been with Lauren for over, actually, I think 40 weeks this week now, and it's taken that long just to get to where I'm at today. I've come to have more self-worth over these months because of the work that I did to get there. It's neat because when that happens, other things do fall into place. I've gotten my confidence back, something I haven't felt since high school. I've never gone this long without overdoing food either in years, and for me, that's huge. And again, shows it's possible. I'm sure everyone has heard the saying, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. Well, for me, nothing tastes as good as control feels. At the beginning of the process, I felt completely helpless. Even thought there's no way Lauren could break the food that it has on me, like the hold it has. I even almost laughed at the process because I'm like, okay, whatever. But boy, I've never been so happy to be wrong. And then when I'm working on still, and this is just being real honest, is fear. I have fear that this amazing feeling is fleeting, that I will lose all control and go back to my heaviest weight. I'm one highly stressful situation away from losing my balance and falling back into my old self. I know that I will forever be working on my relationship with food.
Wow. I think that not only that shows us how far things have come for you, but that the reality is, there's still a journey.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 There is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for your honesty. I don't think so many people are in that situation, and you owning that and being vulnerable with that, meaning feeling like they have to hide food. They'll go to gatherings or events and not eat a single thing, but then go home and just, empty the pantry.
That's
And
a real thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's things that it's real life for people, and they're not alone. And it's okay because they're like, we can work through that,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Hearing you express that you're obviously still nervous, that there's this one stressful moment away from having it slip right through your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
I completely understand that. When I can't even get through this without just falling. When you text me, like it really struck me, and I didn't reach out to you when I received the text because I knew I couldn't talk to you without just falling. So you said when you texted me that you had reached a really monumental point, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huge. I know how huge that was for you, and it just really touched me. I was so thankful that you reached out to me and shared that. And do you want to know what my first thought was?
Yes, tell me.
I hope that she knows anything is possible. Like, I want that to make you feel like you are Superwoman. Anything is possible. And because that's what I felt like that meant for you. You like, I can do this. Like, I will do this. And I know it did. But at the same time, your response was, I really didn't think I would see the day.
I didn't. No, I didn't. That's why I scoffed in the beginning. I'm like, there's no way.
Yes. And that's what happens. It's like so many of us, we want the thing, but deep down inside, we feel like it's not possible. You know what I mean?
I
and
do.
So just every day doing the work, having the conversations, digging into the discomfort and being vulnerable, peeling off the layers, you're there. And it doesn't mean it's perfect. Like, it's not like, it's not like it's not going to be a ton of hard work. It's still hard work, but it's possible.
Yep. It tastes really good. It does. It does. Yeah, and this time is just different. I've lost weight over the years, over and over, yo-yo, but this is different. And I don't know how to explain it in words, but it's different.
Awesome. If you I mean, the reality is people have to be in the right place.
Absolutely.
They have to be in the right place to see success and to do the work. But if you could share one thing, and I didn't prep you with this question, so.
Oh man.
But if you could give people one piece of advice, what's the thing that you might change somebody in deciding to take this journey or not? Is there anything that you would say, piece of advice?
So I did write down what I would need to hear a year ago, in case you did ask me this.
Yes, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Oh, geez. It's nothing mind-blowing, but my advice to myself is to trust the process, be honest and forward about everything, even when the thoughts and words don't make any sense. Get it out. If you choose to do coaching, take one day, one meal at a time. And remember, time doesn't stop for us. So what's it going to be? We're going to make the change or remain the same. Like you said, you have to get yourself mentally ready. Like I was at such a low point. I was ready for Lauren to tell me anything and I was going to do it because nothing else worked. So if you're not mentally there, it's just not going to work, because I think she explains like, what is the word? Shoot, I don't have it right now, but yeah, you just have to mentally be ready. Also, and again, only you or I can make the change. Nobody else can do it for us. And doing nothing, Jared says this, I love this. Doing nothing is still a choice. So stop having a pity party for self and get up and do something about it. It's just that simple. If you want better for yourself, you have to do it. That's it. That's kind of tough love there, but my husband's also that way, so
but really, I mean, that's the reality. The pain of staying the same has to be greater than the pain of paying for coaching and being vulnerable and being honest and not making excuses.
Yes. And he also says you cannot put a price tag on health. So even if somebody's like, that's too expensive, no, it's not. Because how much is pizza? You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to put your money towards? Your health or your pain? Because I don't care what anybody says. When you are overweight, you are miserable. I hate this thing that people are telling themselves, oh, I'm happy, whatever weight. Are you though? I mean, come on. You're not. I mean, come on.
Brandie, and you're so right. I mean, the reality is coaching is not cheap. It is an investment. But this is what we've realized. We've realized unless people put skin in the game, I have offered like literally people that I love that are the closest human beings next to my husband or my daughter. I have offered, I'm like, I will coach you for free. I will like this. They're going to die of a heart attack. They're going to die of hypertension or end up with diabetes, like something. It's so bad. They're not there. They're not ready.
Yeah, that's it. It's mental.
We need skin in the game to also invest in ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's huge. It's huge. And again, Jared has, because of him, I can do this. And I love that he thinks that.
It's huge. You guys are a team. And Brandie, you work so hard. You know what I mean? You work so hard. I'm so thankful. I truly appreciate. This has been, this has been a journey conversation for me. And I'm so thankful for you sharing. Yeah. I'm so thankful.
I feel privileged that you asked and honored. It's pretty neat. I don't know. I hope I can help somebody, but
this is going to change somebody's life. I'm not even kidding. Yeah. Yes, it is.
Good.
And we're going to realize like, oh my word, I thought I was the only one that felt this way. And they're going to realize they're not. Yeah.
No, you're definitely not alone.
Thank you. Is there anything else that we can do to support you or help you through this journey? Do you feel like you got your feet on the ground?
I do. I can't ask for more. I can't. I am so fortunate. There's no, I just let me have Lauren and you for as long as I can. Like, don't go away.
We're
That's all
here
I-
for you, girl. We are here for you. We are here for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I am very fortunate. I'm very blessed. Yes,
I'm
I'm
happy.
great. Yeah, I'm in a good place.
Okay. Well, we're going to say goodbye to everybody watching this. Thank you for taking the time. Please share this with family, friends, anyone who you feel like would benefit from Brandie's honesty and vulnerability. Thank you.